Good afternoon, everyone. We're just waiting for the parties to join and then we can get started. So give us a couple moments while we let them join.
Good afternoon.
Morning or afternoon.
Good afternoon. I believe this is everyone. Attorney Smith, is your client joining or is it just going to be you?
No, just counsel.
All right, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, January 26th, 2026. The time is 3:01 p.m. This is a pre-hearing conference, the matter of Sean Malone for the Massachusetts Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission. This proceeding is open to the public. We are convening remotely over Zoom, and this pre-hearing is being audio and video recorded. The Honorable Barbara A. Dortch-Okara will be the presiding officer over today's pre-hearing conference. My name is Lizzie Zhao, and I'm the hearings administrator for the Post Commission, and this matter is now before Judge Dortch-Okara.
Good afternoon, Counsel. Would you kindly introduce yourself?
Timothy Hartnett on behalf of the commission.
Jennifer Smith on behalf of the respondent.
Well, I hope you're all well, safe,
Yes.
and warm.
Warm enough, right?
Yeah. Whoever requested this change of time, I originally had indicated that I would be available at 10 a.m., but someone suggested 3, and I think you were quite correct in suggesting 3 to get everybody time to get moving it with all the snow. So let's get into this particular matter. I entered a protective order last week, so we do anticipate some issues with regard to documents, perhaps. But let me inquire about any discovery issues, confidentiality issues, or where the parties stand at this particular time, starting with the respondent.
So at this time, we do not have any discovery issues. We've been working with the commission to produce, or for the commission to produce any the documentation, so that we don't have anything there, which is great. And I appreciate counsel for the commission's cooperation and openness to that process, and also being rather informal about that process. Um,
How far along are you?
I believe that the commission has provided at this point everything that they have, is my understanding. And I don't, in my review of it, I have no reason to disbelieve them.
And do you agree, Attorney Harden?
I do.
All right. Then what issues do you expect at the hearing? The respondent?
Well, so we anticipate that the principal issue presented in this case is is if the post commission should exercise their statutory authority to revoke Officer Malone's certification. And so I think that we anticipate that the commission, as the moving party, is going to present evidence from the complainant in the criminal matter that underpins much of this proceeding. And then we intend to respond to the allegations presented through that witness, with testimony from the respondent. And then also we intend to call at least one character witness.
So you expect the respondent and potentially, or at least one, perhaps more
I-
additional witnesses?
yes.
Okay, up to how many?
So I really think it's just going to be the two.
Okay. And let me ask for post.
Yeah, we would we
Same
would
questions.
we would just have one witness, and then I think a lot of the factual issues, are we're going to be able to stipulate to. There's certainly a fair amount of stuff that is at least agreed upon, or we can work out details, and then a lot of it is just written record, and a lot of times the record speaks for itself. Yeah, we would only probably have one witness.
And how much time do you expect the hearing would take?
A day.
Assuming those three witnesses.
I think it should take a day.
1 day. Do you
Yeah.
agree, Attorney Smith?
I agree.
Okay. Now, what about confidentiality issues?
So there will be some confidentiality issues given the nature of the allegations. And then there may be medical information that needs to be maintained. We may need to maintain confidentiality about, including the ones that were the subject of the protective order. But I think we're all in agreement on what that is, and I don't think it'll be really an issue. I think we just have to flag it.
Do you expect that you will need my help in resolving any of those issues, or do you expect that you can do it by stipulation or by agreement?
I think we'll be able to agree. I don't think there's going to be a dispute over that.
I would agree.
All right. And how much time do you think it'll take before you're ready for a hearing?
Well, Your Honor, I think that the respondent probably needs more time to prepare than the commission, but that the commission's schedule is more difficult than the respondent's. I think that we were looking at perhaps a the, subject to your availability and we don't have infinite availability, but maybe sometime in mid-March, if that would work.
Mid-March would not work for me. I will have a medical procedure right in the middle of March, and will need probably as much as 2 weeks before I'm available, late March or early April, unless you're ready early March. I certainly have availability in early March.
Can you help me understand what your definition of early March is?
Early March would be a little too much
Okay.
for me, just because I do have some other deadlines in the middle of February, and then we start butting up to things, and I don't want to.
Sure.
Although I think it's doable. I don't want to do that. I don't think that's wise. Late March would be better for me.
Yeah, in early March, I meant the first week or the second week of March. I'm not available after the 17th or on or after the 17th of March. And if you can't be available, by the second week of March, Attorney Hartnett, I think we need to move on to later.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer the 30th, the week of the 30th there then, if that's what we're talking about. Because I assume you're not, well, actually, I don't know when you said you're going out on the 17th. I don't know when you come back. You said 2 weeks. That would be the 31st, actually.
Lizzie, would you look at the calendar and see where we are?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the week of March 30th, and we could do April 2nd, which is a Thursday, or April 3rd, which is a Friday. And just to confirm, would the hearing be in person? And that's kind of up to the parties and the hearing officer.
Well, just for our benefit, I would be available by the 2nd. So we can, if the 2nd is agreeable to, if you're not engaged on the 2nd would be fine for me.
I don't have the 2nd. I'm sorry.
Pardon me?
I am not available on the 2nd. I'm sorry. I have a hearing.
The 3rd?
Just hold on. I'm sorry. I went I went the wrong way in my calendar. What about the 7th or the 8th or the 9th.
I don't want to go too far out. You're not available early in the month, like the 6th, 7th? Well, you mentioned the 7th, did you?
Yeah, I did. I have the 7th.
Attorney Hartnett?
The 7th is fine.
Okay, then let's look at April 7th. Now, are we speaking of, is there any reason why we would not have an in-person hearing?
I don't know.
Your
No,
witnesses are totally your witnesses are available in the Commonwealth.
Yes.
mine are, yes.
Yes.
Candidly, I've not heard back from my witness on her availability. I did double check these dates, but I know that she works in the Commonwealth. So
Right. So that we wouldn't have
definitely
any testimony that's coming in by Zoom or otherwise.
no, I would anticipate she would appear live.
Okay.
Judge Dortch-Okara, just looking at April 7th, would we be able to do April 9th or the 10th of that week? I know it's pushing it out a little bit, but just in terms of preparation, I think that would work best for the team.
Okay. You mentioned April 9th, didn't you, Attorney Smith?
I have the 9th.
Attorney Hartnett?
That's fine.
Okay, then the 9th
Okay, and that's Thursday, the 9th, in person.
in person.
I need to confirm the availability of the respondent and but I imagine he will do everything in his power to be available, and then also my witness. I just wanted to flag that. Okay.
Okay, so you'll let us know if there's some, extraordinary matter that requires their attention elsewhere, because we really do need to hone in on a date certain. And now, what about a status conference? Is there any need for a status conference between now and then?
I mean, I don't know if we want to have just a final pre-hearing conference. I don't know if we'll need I don't think we'll need anything else. But other than that,
Because you don't need my help in terms of the documents and the like. So a final conference would be useful in order to discuss the exhibits and the like.
yeah,
What about a week before? Or Lizzie, would the staff be available a week before?
Yes, so
Or just just
status
for
conferences
status?
or final pre-hearings are typically done over Zoom. So that does give people a little bit more flexibility, and whatever works best for the parties.
Can you suggest a date?
So a week prior, so Thursday, April 2nd works for us, or we could do Friday, April 3rd.
Are you available on Zoom that day, Attorney Smith?
I am not. I'm sorry.
Okay, and not Friday?
The Friday I am available anytime except 2 p.m.
Okay, so how about the 3rd for the pretrial conference, the pre-hearing conference? Attorney Harden?
that's fine. The 3rd is fine with me.
Okay, and let's look at, let's say 10 or 10 o'clock.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now, what other matters do you believe are outstanding?
I don't think there's anything else. I mean, we'll have to exchange exhibits. I don't anticipate there being a lot, and I think we both have an idea of what they're going to be. So I don't anticipate any issues with that. But we'll need to do that amongst ourselves, and then we can produce copies to the commission. I don't know if you want to set a date for the hearing administration team for when you want us to submit so that they can do their work on that, their end for that stuff.
Yes. Now, you have all the documents that you expect to receive, Attorney Smith, so surely maybe by the end of March, you'll know the ones that you will be offering, you or Post will be offering.
I would certainly hope so. The Could we set the deadline as maybe March 20th? Does that work for you, Attorney Hartnett?
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay,
I just want
March,
to, in the event we have a problem, I want to have some runway to, we won't have a problem.
yeah. So March 20th would be the deadline for submitting your list of witness exhibits and the like.
That'd be for submission of a joint list on the 20th.
A joint, an agreed list. Yes, a joint list.
And then any opposed?
And of course, if you need help, then you'll ask for a conference for me to resolve any remaining issues, but you don't expect any, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Nothing
No,
further from the respondent.
Mr. Hartnett?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And I think then we're okay. We have, Lizzie, will you read out the dates that we've indicated here?
Yes, so I have Friday, March 20th as the deadline to submit the joint exhibit and witness lists. I have the final pre-hearing conference on Friday, April 3rd at 10 o'clock a.m. And then I have the adjudicatory hearing scheduled for Thursday, April 9th in person. And would you like that to start at 10 o'clock as well, Judge?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the location of the hearing, Lizzie, will we know the exact location?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think the Post Commission office at 84 State, but I will double check and we'll circulate hearing information when we get closer to the date of the hearing.
Okay. All right. Is there any other matter you'd like to bring to my attention?
No, Your Honor.
No?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you.
pleasant evening.
Yeah, take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.